how are you? I trust you're well. I'm here today to talk a little bit about seated posture and to show you an exercise that's great for providing a feeling of lift in the body without feeling rigid. So before we do the exercise, I just want to demonstrate to you a little bit about why doing this is important, particularly as a string player. So first, with the bow arm side of the equation, a lot of the time we'll see slouched posture when playing. And take a look at what happens to the bow arm when that happens. So here I am sitting up straight, and I've got a contact point that works well for getting a good sound. And as I slouch, what happens is the back goes back, so that sends my shoulder forward, and then contact point ends up over here. So then here I am trying to get a good sound, but can't do it quite so easily because I'm over here over the fingerboard. So then if I stay slouched and bring my arm back in to change the contact point, well, now my arm is cramped. So that can lead eventually to discomfort, it can lead to tightness. If I'm trying to, say, bounce the bow, then that's where that kind of effortful bounce comes from, because the arm isn't connected to the back. Whereas if you're sitting in a more lifted posture, you can just have a much more natural bounce of the bow and a better sound quality without having to muscle it so much in your bow arm. On the viola side of the equation, a way that I find lifted seated posture to be very helpful and important has to do with going up into high positions. So here I am again seated straight. And watch what happens now if I slouch. Here we are, slouched. You see my spine coming further back relative to the instrument. And if I try to come up and around in this position, I get really stuck. Can't get there. And then the adjustments that I make in my body to get there in the slouched position, not a happy situation for the shoulder. But if you're lifted in your body, then you can just glide right up there, easy peasy. So grab a theraband, and we're going to do an exercise to see what this feeling of lift is all about. All right, I've got my theraband and we're ready for the exercise. So this is a medium tension theraband. I took it and folded it in half the long way and then wrapped it around the mid-back, being sure to get it as flat as possible across the back. So here you are, you're going to be holding it like this, where you pull forward a little bit so that you can feel some resistance in the band against your rib cage. And you're seated in the chair. So the first thing to check in on is sensing your sits bones. If you have anything in your back pocket, get that out of there so that you can feel yourself perched right on top of your sits bones. And here you are, sitting up. Now, with the resistance in the band, part of what you want to look for in this exercise is, can you use your own muscles to lift yourself up, but also trust the band a little bit. So some of the time in this exercise, it's almost like you're going to be just a little bit falling back into it. And you want to have this feeling of it catching you a little bit. So you're both lifting yourself, but you're also allowing the band to lift you. So here you are on the sits bones, and you're just going to hinge back a little bit and then hinge forward. And do that a few times. Oh, by the way, your abdominal muscles, pull those in a little bit. Not super hard, but just a little bit of lift to support you through the back. And just to show yourself the difference, let that go for a second, try doing this hinge. It'll feel most likely a lot more collapsible. So engage your abdominals just a little bit. You're pulling forward on the band, you're hinging back, you're hinging up. A combination of using your own muscles to hold you up and using the band to lift you. Next off, we're going to do a little bit of spinal flexion into the band. So I like to do this on an inhale to feel the inhale expanding my back ribs. Pulling forward on the band, you're going to inhale, pull your belly in, and round forward. Then on the exhale, keep pulling forward and stack your spine tall. Keep the abdominal engagement so it's a long engagement of your belly. So a few of those, inhaling, exhaling, thinking of lifting up out of your hips and then lifting up above the level of the band. So just feeling, can I get a little bit taller from the level of the band around the mid-back? Inhaling, exhaling. Next, we're going to go into a little bit of extension. And with this, it truly doesn't matter how far back you go. This exercise is not about getting some big back bend, but it's all about the internal feeling of lift when seated. So here, I engage the belly, and this too will be an inhale. So pull forward, inhale, and think up, and then lift the sternum. Don't worry about this with your neck. You don't want to shorten the back of your neck. So you don't really need to be looking up at the ceiling. It's more like kind of looking up over there where the top of the wall meets the ceiling. So it's inhale to extend, exhale back to neutral. Inhaling to extend, belly engaged the whole time, exhaling back to neutral. You do maybe around 6 of each, 6 flexion, 6 extension. Then let's combine them. So for this, let's do an exhale for the flexion. So you're going to flex forward on an exhale, belly pulls in, pulling forward on the band. You're rolling back on your sits bones a little bit. Then pull forward, inhale, up into extension, tall, tall, tall. Exhale, and inhale. And you do that about 6 times as well. So if you feel anywhere in your body is getting like foreshortened or crunched in here, like say in the neck or in your hips or something like that, like they're not working so well, you gotta lift up a little bit. So that's what this belly thing is all about. So you're using your own body plus the assistance of the band to help you feel this. And what I experience with this exercise is after doing this a few times and I let go of the band and just sit, I maintain some of that lift. So then when bringing the instrument up again, it's just easy to keep everything in proper alignment. And so that is my hope for you as well. Try it out and I'll see you next time.